Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. So today's pick a card is themed around Halloween and Samhain, and I'm thinking of it as the witch's new year. So with that intention, to see what you need to know and what spirit is bringing through for you moving forward. And so for each pile, I have a card. For pile 1, we have Quaking Aspen, We Are One. Despite the trembling of her leaves, Aspen isn't really scared. How do I know? Because deep underground, all the aspens hold hands. To our eyes, aspen trees are individuals, but in their roots and hearts, they're one. This is not mere metaphor. Aspens grow in what's called a clonal colony, sending out underground suckers to find a lovely spot to sprout a sister tree. Aspen groves are among the largest and oldest single organisms on the planet. When you see Aspen quivering, it's often with laughter. She giggles gently at the human race, who seem to have forgotten that deep in our roots, we too are one. Aspen asks us to root into the sense of connection so we can let go of our fears. And pile 2, you have Remembrance, Rosemary. Rosemary is the smell of déjà vu and the afterbreath of nostalgia. Her gift is a faint scent that teases and vanishes, leaving you longing for something you can't quite name, with memories that crest and crash, pulling you gasping into their undertow. In Victorian times, Rosemary was said to say, "Remember me." This is but a small part of her magic. Rosemary can ease remembrance, softening sharp edges, or she can dredge the distant past, pulling on your DNA to bring forward the longings of lineage. Crush the leaves, hold them to your nose. The past is encoded into our cellular memory. Rosemary whispers, sink into the knowledge that lives in your bones. Let memory rise up from the body of your being. And for pile 3, we have Defying Gravity, Reishi. Reishi mushroom is the Yoda of the plant world, helping you assimilate life's experiences and turn them into wisdom. The Taoists teach that Reishi can show you where your power lies, which some might call your destiny. Reishi is not some soft, clingy mushroom, but instead a strong, structured, gravity-defying shelf. She asks no less from you. How can you defy anything keeping you from finding meaning, purpose, and health? She asks no less from you. How can you defy anything keeping you from finding meaning, purpose, and health? Like all the best teachers, Reishi points to the path and lets you walk it, taking your lumps and bumps along the way. She doesn't want you to rely on her strength. She wants you to find your own. But if you're willing to do the work, Reishi will help you transform from the inside out. So those are the 3 options. Take your time to intuit which pile has your messages, and just remember to take what resonates, release the rest, and I will see you at your selected reading. Hello, reading 1. If you chose Quaking Aspen, We Are One, this is your reading. So let's get into it. We will start with 3 tarot cards. You have the Queen of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, and the World. I love this. Okay. With the Queen of Pentacles is this sense of something coming full circle. There's something that you are seeing the fruits of your labor, something that you have built up, that you have woven and created and birthed. And it's like now you get to see it grow. I do feel like there's something here about something is going to take on a life of its own, something you've put out into the world. And this could cause a little bit of anxiety for you. But Spirit's reassuring you that everything that you've put in, all that effort and time to build this up, to nurture this, it's done its job. That focus, it has nourished this project, or whatever this is that has been birthed by you. It's been created by you and given to the world. Really, it feels like there's something here about you recognizing that what you have created is meant to be of service to the world. It is meant to be shared, and that can be a little bit scary. I do feel like there's some fear around how it will be received. And with We Are One and Quaking Aspen, this isn't about having fear, right? And quaking with fear, but shivering with joy and excitement that this is happening for you. And with this being the witch's new year, right? We are going into a new cycle, and that really is amplified with a card here of the world. And I feel like Spirit is absolutely wanting to recognize you for walking that tightrope, because I do feel there was a lot of navigation on your part and staying flexible, staying grounded to get to this point. And now it's like you've made it to this point, and there's this sense of, well, now what? Like, I have to kind of let it go, and it's on its own. And maybe for some of you, this is, maybe your child or something that is in some way growing up. There's maturation here, but then there's that part of you that will always be, that parent, and it can be quite scary to have that dynamic shift in this way. But I really do feel like Spirit and your guides are standing with you and supporting you, like the roots of the aspens, that you still are connected. There isn't really at the soul level a shift as far as the separation in our physical life. Like, yes, things will shift and change, but coming back to the soul, coming back to the heart, there will always be that connection. So Spirit's just wanting you to take comfort in that, knowing that you did your very best, and you've also set an example for this. If this is a person, like a child, something like that, you have shown this being how to navigate their life. You've been that example. And if this is a project, you have really curated all the resources and all the elements that have come together for this to function well on its own. It's like you get to take a seat and step back and let it go. You're not having to, like, I'm hearing the word micromanage anything at this point anymore. But that can be a little bit scary. It's like, well, now what? So Spirit's just reassuring you that this will be a time of celebration. Okay, let's see what else we have here. So we have your dreams need a practical plan, full moon in Taurus. I really feel like this is telling me that now, as something has come full circle, there is something new that you get to dive into. A time to give rather than take. Yeah. Again, that sense of like service, something being of service, that it's not about you. It's not really like a reflection of, your worth or anything. This is its own thing now. It's a soul. I don't know. If this is a person, they're their own being and soul. If it's a project, it's like that consciousness, you have instigated it, but now all that is meant for you is to just, you can be there as a support, but you don't control it. I feel like that's what it's coming down to. There is this aspect of letting it go and realizing it's not about you anymore. It's like you have done all that you could up to this point to nurture and nourish this. Also feeling a message, as this is Taurus energy and Virgo energy, there is a message around resting and nourishing yourself, your body, and feeding your environment. So this is very directly like your comfort, your space, your home, that it now is wanting attention. So if you have been in a time of like really running through your thoughts, your mind, that sort of thing, now it's time to, again, I feel like take a seat, like relax, step back, and nourish yourself now. Okay, and we have grief. It is but a mere glimpse of nothingness hidden away deep within the chambers of your mourning, in the red clover's birthing lost illusion. Interesting that sense of losing something, losing that connection, that dynamic, your relationship to this person, this idea, this project, perhaps this part of you. There's a sense of grief that's coming up. There is this sense of loss because there is such a significant change. So Spirit is recognizing that yes, there is this grief that can come up, and it's meant to be processed by you, to move through the grief as you need to, as feels right. But I do feel there is an interesting aspect here with the idea of lost illusion. It's really an illusion that it's lost or not a part of you anymore, because again, you will always be connected. There will be that connection to this, and yes, it may not look or feel the same way anymore, but it's absolutely there, and that could help you navigate the grief. We have intuition. You hold the answers, you know the truths. Ancient ones await behind the doors of the mind. Yeah, so coming back to that sense of like taking a seat, resting, being still when you feel like you have been in a phase of going with that Knight of Swords. This is a time to rest, and that is a perfect time, that stillness, to let your intuition speak, let your intuition be heard, to tap in. And I am feeling that there's, something new that is going to be coming up and asking for your energy, but it feels like it will be a little down the road, because there is this stillness, rest, processing that is asking for your energy now. It's like you're kind of sensing now in these moments that future potential, that future spark. So let that in, but kind of surrender to it and surrender to the timing of it, because there is absolutely still some wrapping up of this current cycle. Like I'm getting void energy, being in the void, being in the womb. As something has been birthed, there's now some sort of empty space, right? That we will see what comes of that void space. Let's get your final message. Dawn, the light after the darkness. That's funny. I feel that every time I use this deck, I get this card. So it's still very relevant. Yes, I will read from the book, but this makes a lot of sense that you're going from a period of void energy, the sense of darkness and aloneness, potential, isolation, and that grief. But Spirit's saying the dawn always comes, right? And it's right time. Dawn always comes. After the darkest times, the sun will always rise, the dawn will always come. This can be no surprise. Whilst midnight is often thought of as a magical hour, throughout time dawn has also had its share of the mystical. All manner of magical beings had to return to their true forms by dawn. Werewolves, for example, and vampires could only be active whilst the rays of the sun did not pierce the sky. Dawn and deities of dawn heralded both hope and new life. Goddesses such as Eostre and gods like Helios and Apollo were those who brought new life and the dawn's light to the world. The journey from the darkest night of the soul to a bright and hopeful dawn is one of the deepest and most powerful hero's paths repeated over and over in mythology. Should you receive the Dawn card, you are being reminded that there is always a fresh start and a new beginning to be had. Change is unstoppable, and even the most difficult times will pass, no matter how devastating they may seem. Hope is one of the most powerful motivating forces in the universe, and it's being indicated here. Yes, it's powerful energy. Reading 1 and So keep that hope that there will be this lightness again coming in for you, that this energy of the void, of grief, of the darkness, it is serving its purpose. And allow yourself to use this time for you, to nourish yourself. And in doing that, you really are serving everyone else. You will be there when you are called then to take that step and stand in the light again, right? We all need this time of rest and be in that energy of finding that support and being in that give and take and that balance. I hope this reading was helpful for you. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And if you want to see more from me, then please subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram, and you can also work with me one-on-one, and all that info is in the description box. So on that note, I wish you all the best. I give you my love. Until next time. Bye, reading 1. Hi, reading 2. If you chose Remembrance, Rosemary, this is your reading. So we're going to start with tarot and see what we've got here. We have the 8 of Swords. We have the Knight of Cups. And we have the Star. Wow, okay. So the first impression I'm getting is that for some of you, there may be this Knight of Cups that is coming in for you, but maybe you have not recognized this offer of emotional connection, of a relationship, potentially romantic. I do feel this could be a connection to someone who's been in your life in the past, or maybe who has been in your life continuously, and there's now this shift in the relationship, but perhaps you have not recognized it, you haven't seen it, because I feel there's something here about, if this is you, you are wrapped up in your own thoughts of some sort. There's definitely some sense of being trapped and stuck in a situation that is causing you, I'm feeling frustration and stress. It's like it's just consuming you completely. And so there's this offer of other energy, of love and compassion. And perhaps for some of you, this is just something that is an aspect of yourself that's asking to be let in, like a higher aspect, your higher self, soul that is asking you to take a look in your heart, to get out of your head, and the spiraling thoughts is like, it's a gentle reminder to come back to your center and to open up emotionally to something, because there's healing here with a star. There's respite and rejuvenation that I'm feeling. There's coming back to what feels like a fresh start, a clean slate almost. And so with Rosemary, there is this sense of the past could be haunting you, or there's something from your past that is being asked to be remembered, to open up a part of you to a new perspective, a bigger picture, like something can come into clarity and some sort of resolution, maybe with the star is what I'm feeling. There's a lot of healing and hope being offered, pile 2, by someone else or your higher self. And perhaps this is you coming from a place of the 8 of Swords and now being in this Knight of Cups and having this kind of newfound sense of who you really are and coming from a place of passion and love in your life, and you will be seeing the results of that if you haven't already. You're really sharing that light and love. Let's see what else we have here. We have full moon in Scorpio. It's time to release negativity. Yeah. With that 8 of Swords in particular. And for some of you, it could be even like, the people in situations around you that tend to skew like to the negative, like a kind of negative influence. And Spirit's even saying, one less encounter with that energy would do you good. We have Show the World the Real You, full moon in Aquarius. Yeah, so there is this call to release what isn't you, because whatever you have held on to that's ready to be released, that is not allowing the true you to shine and be in the world. The real you is courageous, and fear is not nearly as strong as your sense of love. The inspiration that you are and the compassion that you bring is a whole lot bigger and stronger than any of the negative. So Spirit's just wanting you to recognize this as you're moving into this completely new you, it feels like. And that if there is this other person coming in, the Knight of Cups, and there's this new relationship that is going to, again, like clean slate, and there's a lot of healing and feeling grounded and supported in this relationship. Supported so that you can really be yourself. It's like you're being reminded who you really are. We have All Hallows Eve. Call upon the voices that stir your senses through the night. Cast an unforgiven howl as you stomp your might through the ground. This is like calling in your power, calling in yourself, your higher self, your kind of wild, untamed aspect of your higher self. There's something here about you being able to call that in and actually embody it and carry it forward in this new year, right? This new cycle, this new iteration. Let's see. Yeah. Yes, rebirth for sure. This is rebirth energy. I love this. 1 to 31. That's interesting. Right away I'm feeling like a month's time. And everything will be different. Everything will have shifted, and in a way you couldn't even foresee, right? There's death in all that awakens, for it isn't blissful nor painless. It's a mighty rising, O flame resurrected. Yeah, there's like this ultimate transmutation. As you release the negativity, it becomes transmuted and turns into this like potent source of energy for you to move forward that will fuel you and support you. And it's like one of the things coming up is how fire nourishes, it provides needed nutrients and things for the earth, for the soil, so that there can be this fresh start. And perhaps if this is a kind of a relationship, a person like coming back around from your past, this is also a message around it won't be like it was before. I mean, it has to be different than it was before because there's you're different people. There's different energy involved, but this is still asking you to be in your power. I feel like that's important, to have that sense of who you really are, and that is never meant to be diminished. Okay, we're gonna take it. Okay. Barmbrack, sweetness and synergy. And I will read from the book. I swear, every time I use this deck, I get the same cards. I feel like this has happened in the past Halloween-inspired readings, but I trust that Spirit knows what Spirit's doing. Barmbrack, sweetness and synergy. A pea, a cloth, a coin, a ring, and stick, within a loaf of speckled sweetness. Slice it and eat it, a glimpse of fate's completeness. Not quite a cake, and not quite a bread. Barmbrack is a sweet loaf, larger than a typical bread loaf, baked with flour, sugar, salt, and dried fruits, such as raisins. The making of barmbrack is an Irish tradition that still stands around Samhain, Halloween. The person baking the loaf would be sure to set the intention for love, truth, and synergy whilst prepping. Inside the dough, a number of special objects are hidden and baked into the loaf. The objects are used as a kind of random oracle. Each one has a particular meaning which represents the fate of the person who found it in their slice. The traditional objects include a coin, a pea, a stick, a ring, and a small piece of cloth like muslin. Some other additions, made in more modern times, were religious medals. Should your slice of the brack contain a coin, this would indicate prosperity and good luck. The pea, unfortunately, meant that no marriage would occur for you that year, yet finding the ring meant a marriage was certain. The stick, to be avoided at all costs, indicated disputes and unhappiness, and finding the cloth meant bad luck and little money ahead. When you pull the Barmbrack card, it indicates a curiosity to know what is ahead, but it's important to balance that with the now. After all, we have the tools to change our future should we choose. The sweet synergy of Barmbrack, all the ingredients, including the objects, are more complete and powerful together than they are individually. Should encourage you to seek your own sweet spot. Aw, yeah. It's like finding your sweet spot, finding that part of you that is wanting to be revealed and supported, and boosted, right? To be that star. This is the synergistic work that you're being called to. This transmutation energy. So I hope this reading was helpful for you, Pile 2. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. I'd appreciate it. If you want to see more from me, then please subscribe. I am on Instagram if you want to follow me there, and you can also work with me one-on-one. All the links and info is in the description box. So on that note, I wish you all the best. I give you my love. Until next time. Bye, reading 2. Hi, reading 3. If you chose Defying Gravity, Reishi, this is your reading. And we will start with tarot. We have 3 cards. We have the 4 of Cups. We have the Queen of Wands. And we have Temperance. Okay. The first thing that I am feeling in looking at these cards is the Queen of Wands really embodying that energy of strength and resilience and climbing up. And I'm kind of hearing like climbing up the ladder and not backing down. I'm really feeling the sense of owning your space, your presence, taking up space for some of you. There's a message here about finding that will, that drive, that fiery energy, and using it for yourself and what it is you are striving for, what you're looking for, what you're wanting. Because with the 4 of Cups here, it's like Spirit's pointing out that in some capacity you have been maybe not allowing yourself to acknowledge something that you really do desire, that you want for yourself, that you have an interest in something, or you would like to have this goal or aspiration, and maybe there's something emotionally keeping you from acknowledging it or letting yourself go, well, what if, and actually going after this. And I feel like with this fresh start, new year energy or new cycle going into the winter, there is a time of reflection and stillness, and this could be this time to actually take a look at what that 4th cup is for you and figuring out like what you need to feel this good about it, this confident about it, and let yourself do it. Go after it in whatever way that makes sense for you. But it's interesting because with Temperance, it is about having that balance, and that it can't all be that fiery energy. It also needs to have that balance of the water, and there's that in one aspect, it's going with the flow. Yes, you can take steps and put some things into action and into motion, but it is about just finding your ground. I feel like it with Temperance is finding your sense of footing and allowing things to move around you and take shape. And I do feel like there's something here about like waiting for the right moment, that you'll know when it's time to like snag that fish, right? Letting it come to you. There is that balance, but you also have to still take that step, or the few steps, whatever makes sense. Again, it's not going to be the same for everybody, but there's some action to be taken, but it's also letting the universe deliver to you. Because the Four of Cups is like not doing anything. You know, it's kind of like waiting around for something better, but being so like stuck in, well, I only have these 3 cups, that, you know, you don't see this 4th option offering that's coming in. So yeah, I feel like Spirit is saying you have what it takes for this, but it's putting it into action and also developing that faith and courage and letting it go and seeing how it comes together for you. Like, of course, there's patience involved. So we have communication is key with new moon in Gemini. And we have the end of a tough cycle approaches, full moon in Capricorn. So speaking of a cycle ending and a new beginning, that a time where it has been tough, it makes sense that it is approaching its end, and this is what Spirit's saying. It could be that drive, that kind of instigator to get you in this energy of the Queen of Wands. And there's something here about what I'm feeling is this communication. There's something about communication and charisma and charm and letting yourself be in that energy of, you know, witty, charming. I'm feeling maybe for some of you there's like something, maybe networking, putting yourself out there in some way, speaking your truth. And sometimes it can feel like the, you know, fake it till you make it. But once you just start, the easier it becomes. So let's take a look at the other cards. We have ancestors. They hiss a quivering so deep only roots of your soil can lift the nakedness hidden within the vows made in silence, an ancient chill walking upon the spine. And we have crystals and herbs. Oh, what medicine, what sacredness to behold, a dash of healing straight from mother's home. So the ancestors, first, is that energy of revealing the things that are part of our lives that relate back to our past, the generations that have come before us and the things that they experienced and they took with them to the other side. We can actually tap into that and change it, transmute it. We can learn from it. And with this time, one where the veil is thinning and we are thinking about and honoring our ancestors, this is really the perfect time to connect with them, connect to their experiences and see if there is some aspect of this that, you know, they want to communicate to you or with you about. Because perhaps there is something in the past for them that energetically is impacting you in the present. And with the crystals and herbs, I mean, this is like one of the perfect ways to actually make that connection and to get you, you know, inspired to pick up that cup. So if this resonates for you, there could be some type of ritual or practice that you can construct with the help of your ancestors and your guides, that they will help you craft what you need moving forward. And I just feel like the ancestors are there to boost you up, to get you to this place. In a way, I'm feeling that this is them getting their time in the spotlight, in a role of some type of leadership or authority and recognition. And so they're supporting you in achieving that. They're like rallying around you is what I'm feeling. And I also feel like they may be talking to you in crystals, in herbs, in nature, that there are signs and synchronicities that are coming to you, maybe even in animal spirits. So to be open to that. Reading 3. Let's go ahead and pull your final message. What you need to know this Samhain. This one. All right. Oh, I love this. Okay. We have Skull of Stars, Infinite Possibilities. And I'm going to read from the book. Why think so small when galaxies spin within? Realize that you are made of the stuff of stars and infinite possibilities begin. This skull brings us back to the fact that we are all made of the stuff of stars, yet many of us think so small. We are each born with a blank canvas to paint upon, and we are indeed an open sky of possibilities. It is easy to feel small in a world that is so busy, impersonal, and seemingly self-absorbed. We can at times feel lost and unclear about our direction and lose sight of our place in the cosmos. The Skull of Stars reminds us that we are only limited by our own imagination and boundaries. If we can dream it, it is possible. This card indicates that you need to think bigger and more broadly about your future and what you would like to achieve. Perhaps there are false beliefs, often old, that no longer serve you as you grow and change. Sometimes these beliefs may not even be yours. They may have been imparted to you by your parents or the wider community, yet feel rather incongruent to you. You need to endeavor with all of your heart and soul to live the life you want and honor your own wishes and truth. Oh, that's beautiful, reading 3. And that just feels so perfect for you. And the messages coming through, it was like, yes, that the feeling of it not being possible for you isn't really yours. Again, it's like the ancestral guides coming in and pointing that out and helping you see that just because it was their experience does not mean it has to be yours. And they're here to help you like scratch at that surface and reveal those galaxies within you, right? That you have all that innate energy and power within you. It's just a matter of like being open to seeing it. And in a way, like I'm feeling, exposing it to the world, communicating it to the world, and allowing it to just be. be what it is. So I hope this reading was helpful for you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And if you want to see more from me, then please subscribe. I also have an Instagram if you'd like to follow me there, and I do have some ways that you can work with me one-on-one, and all that info is in the description box. And on that note, I wish you all the best. I give you my love. Until next time, bye, Reading 3.